news video, and I want to start with an update on the tree that I talked about a couple videos ago. There is an update and another arrest in that case, and I want to give you the update. The title of the article says British police arrest second suspect accused of cutting down 300-year-old tree near Hadrian's Wall. A man in his 60s was recently arrested after a centuries-old tree near Hadrian's Wall was cut down. The second arrest over the incident. The tree, which dated back to the 18th century, was destroyed overnight on Thursday. A 16-year-old boy was arrested on suspicion of criminal damage and later freed on bail. The tree, which was considered a landmark, was even featured in the 1991 Kevin Costner film Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. One British commentator said that he was sick to the core over the destruction of the tree. I just see this as part of a piece with the much broader hostile environment towards the living world in this country, nature writer Robert Macfarlane told the BBC Radio. It was a tree that ashes were scattered under, marriages were made under, and it was a shelter for tired walkers. Hadrian's Wall, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is an ancient and iconic landmark that dates back to the Roman Empire. It was named after one of Rome's 5 good emperors, Hadrian, who had visited what is now the United Kingdom. The wall separated Caledonia, a portion of what is now Scotland, from Roman Britain. Construction on the wall began in 122 AD. 122 AD. Wow. The senseless destruction of what is undoubtedly a world-renowned landmark and a local treasure has quite rightly resulted in an outpouring of shock, horror, and anger throughout the Northeast and further afield. Detective Inspector Rebecca Finney said, "I hope this second arrest demonstrates just how seriously we're taking this situation and our ongoing commitment to find those responsible and bring them to justice." The tree was cut near the base of its trunk, so it could technically grow back at a much smaller size. Experts predict that it will grow back to be 8 feet tall. Yay! That's the good news in this story, is that there's actually a chance that it will grow back. And that makes me happy. I think it's, kind of like, it's like a metaphor for life, in that when bad things happen, something can come back and heal from it. It will never be the same, but it can still heal and be something, It's like when we go through hard times, and we get cut down by people, we can come back, but we're always affected. We're always affected by what's happened to us, but we can still bounce back. And I hope that the tree bounces back. So, that's good. The second thing I want to talk about this story, which is surprising because I think there's more to the story when if they've arrested 2 people and it's an ongoing investigation, something's going on here. There's more to this than just some punk kid going out and cutting a tree down as a prank. Maybe the 60-year-old is his dad, I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. Okay, now I am going to bring you tonight's news story, and tonight's news story comes from the United States in New York. The title of this article is New York Woman, 28 years old, sentenced to 8.5 years in prison in fatal shoving of 87-year-old singing coach. A 28-year-old former event planner who pleaded guilty to manslaughter in August has been sentenced to 8.5 years in prison for the unprovoked shoving of an 87-year-old Broadway voice coach onto a Manhattan sidewalk last year. Supreme Court Judge Felicia Menon on Friday added 6 months to the 8 years already agreed upon in Pazienza's plea deal, saying she didn't believe Pazienza had taken responsibility for her actions. So this judge said, I'm not accepting the plea deal. I'm giving you another 6 months because this woman is obviously not sorrowful. Maybe sorrowful for herself, but not for the victim. Pazienza left Barbara Mayer Gustern bleeding on a Chelsea sidewalk soon after the woman cracked her head March 10th, 2022, as a result of Pazienza's shove. She suffered a massive hemorrhage on the left side of her brain and died after 5 days in a hospital. The defendant could have faced 25 years in prison if she hadn't taken the plea deal and had been found guilty by a jury. As part of the plea deal, Pazienza admitted to hurling profanities at Gustern and intentionally shoving her to the ground. Her motive remains unclear. This part is kind of strange to me. Or no motive. You just walk up to some old lady and you start yelling profanities at her, and then you shove her to the ground. I don't know. Prosecutors previously said the younger woman rushed Gustern on a Chelsea sidewalk, called her a bee, and knocked her to the ground from behind. She has been held at the Rikers Island jail since March 2022, when a judge revoked her bail. Lauren Pazienza aggressively shoved Barbara Gustern to the ground and walked away as the beloved New Yorker lay there bleeding. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg said in a statement after she pled guilty, Today's plea holds Pazienza accountable for her deadly actions. Gustern was a vocal coach whose clients have included such celebrities as Blondie singer Debbie Harry, as well as Kimberly Bryant, a South Carolina performer who referred to Gustern as her former mentor and her New York mom. She told Fox News that Gustern and her late husband had taken her in when she arrived in the Big Apple years ago for her first stint on Broadway in The Phantom of the Opera. We really became close because they really adopted lots of sort of strays, as they would call us, for holidays because we couldn't go home. She said, I couldn't go home for Thanksgiving because we had a show. That's how the story ends. So yeah, just such a sad story. This woman, lived her life, working and helping people learn how to sing. And she's just simply walking down the sidewalk and, gets killed. And I think that it's, we've talked in a couple of our past videos about society and how morally we have shifted, to put it lightly. And I think this is proved because we used to really, honor our old people, like old people and babies were off limits. You don't hurt those. Everybody in between was kind of okay to mess with, but elderly and babies, no, off limits. I'm sorry, Pearl's whining about something. Oh, maybe it's because this helicopter's going over. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. It's just a sad ending. And 8.5 years, I just don't know if that's an appropriate sentence. I just don't. It seems short. I'll concede it probably wasn't premeditated. She probably just didn't set out that day and say, I'm going to kill some old lady today. But it still seems like a very short sentence for killing someone. But I'm sure there's others that I don't know what's going on with Pearl. She has an ear infection, but I got her medicine, but I don't know if that's what it is or not, if her ear's bothering her. But just life, that's the cruelty of life, that things just happen like that. But that's a conversation for another video. Okay, thank you for watching. And if you're new, please subscribe.